Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Depends upon the location from where you are browsing this video. Immense thankful to all of you for giving me the proclamation and also subscribing to my channel. For new subscribers, I will always dedicate my work for more and better prospects for the near future in the area of business intelligence. Well, as I am in here and we have seen through the couple of business intelligence using Power BI about the Indian financial problem, this time I will actually work upon the payment structure that as India or Indian government has made up their efforts to do so. So what I will do is I will check about the rolling year average using loss of date to calculate the loan taken from last year from the current date. We will also use the calculate function to get sum of all the disbursed amount for that particular period. So if I just take my payment table in here and I use the new measure, so I can get it into this particular format. Let me zoom it a little bit. So if I have it in here, so the loss of last rolling year will be equals to let me just make it wider. Okay, so I will use the calculate function, of course. So the calculate function will give me the prerogative to understand that how the last rolling year period can help using sum. And if I and notice it is sum, that means I'm using a filter context. So if I use the payment with the disbursed amount as given by the Indian government. So if I use the dates in period, so the dates in period means the dates from the current year to the last year. So if I use the dates in period between the current and the last year, I can check upon the payment method using end of period, and I will use in this case is the date, because I am using dates in period of calculating the two different date structure. So if that is in the case, I can use the last date that has been used for the loan disbursement or the loan recovery, and I will take the end of period with I will take the date again, as I am using the date function. So with this I will take as I am going to the previous year, so I will definitely use -1, that is means of the 1 year back, and I will take this in here. Furthermore, I will closing up now, and if I close it up now, my loss of the last rolling period will be given me like this. But this will be quite a bizarre if I can't explain that why and each of these sentences has to work upon. So what I will do is I will make it a kind of comment section in here. So I will use that the last year rolling rolling money, and this is I will be using the use of, that means I'm using a comment section. Yeah, so I can use also I will I can take I can close this up here, this one. I can take this as well, that the calculate function which will return which will return me the value of each section of the each part. So I will close this up, and the dates in period, that means the dates in period between the dates the dates in between the last year and the current year from where the loan has been taken, and the last date is from the last date where the loan has been disbursed. So with this architecture, or with this help, I can make my comments much more clear, and I can definitely make anyone to be understood that what is actually I'm implementing in Power BI. So Now I have this in here. So if I want to make the visualization, I can first of all use the interest rate, which is I will take it into number. So I will take this in here. That is my interest rate that has been applied on the payment mode. Then thereafter I will take the disbursed amount. The disbursed amount I will take it in the same fashion, that is 38 million rupees. Furthermore, I can take the original prepaid, that means original principal amount, which was the money that has been paid so far, or the original principal amount that has been disbursed by the international banks to the Indian authorities so far. So if I take this up in here, I can have the three different platform in here. Yeah. So now I have these three prerogative in front of me, and now I can check upon that about the visualization part. So what I can do is I will take the clustered column chart. So I can take this. I will take this in here. All right, I'll take this up in here. Now I will take the axis name will be my project name, that is the project for which the money has been taken. And for the value, I will take the loss of last transactions, and you can see that it is coming up just into the time. And notice that if I stretch it a little bit further, and if I add my original principal amount that has been disbursed, it will give me this particular type of architecture. Now this is quite confusing. So what I will do is I will make this same this visualization, but this time I will open my data labels so that it can be visualized upfront, and I will change my data colors into the golden, and this one I will take it as into the pinkish yellow, and this can give me a quite visualization that how much each project has taken the money, and they have failed to return from the money, that failed to return the payment from the last year to the current year. So this is one particular part I have been working this time. Now my interest is about the last period revenue. That's mean the dates between on inclusion of both the start and end date. That is, the dates in period gives you the period of dates and excluding unwanted dates. So week to date calculation is the most necessary in this particular scenario to calculate. So I need to calculate all the dates between that date and the date of current filter context using the filter or the context transition, which I am going to demonstrate here now in my next part. So what I will do is I will take again the same type of methodology, that I will use the new measure. It comes up in here like this. So if I take the last period revenue that has been dispersed, and if I little bit up stretch it up in here, so last period revenue, and if I take the calculate, and thereafter if I take the sum with the investments given in the interest rate. So if I take this up in here, and furthermore if I go to the next part, which is the dates between, that means the dates between the two different year. So if I take the dates between and the loan of the end period, that means I will take the loan of the end of the period, and I will take the dates add, that means adding more date into date add into last date of the loan with the same end of period. And since I will be going 1 year back, so I will take -1 with, I will use the total number of loans that has been taken so far by the Indian banks from the foreign governments. So I will take the total total number of loans or total loans with the day in my count, and I will enclose it with the last date, that is the money has been repaid. So we are shifting between the two dates of the last year's date and current year date with the end of period, and in this I will be enclosing up in here, and furthermore I will enclose up in here, and I will enclose up in here as well. So my brackets are matching. So let me check whether my measure is going correct or not, and it says it does works on it. But like the previous one, let me put the comments for a clear visualization. So what I will do is I will take the use as usual the same commenting procedure. So I'm sorry. So what I'll use is the last period revenue. That means the last week to date, the week to date money spent or given to the banks. That is the one thing which I am going to calculate. I already wrote about the calculate function, so this time I will go for the sum. Sum will actually use the filtered context between the columns to give the value for the interest rate, and the dates add. That means the dates of the that's the last date of the loan, taken and repaid by the government. So with this I can make my measure perfectly well. So now I am again in here. So this time I will take the clustered column chart again, and now this time I can visualize that I have to take the loan number again in here in the axis field, and I will take the last period revenue, that is this one, into the value first, and thereafter I will take the disbursed amount given for that particular time of the period. So it gives me this particular prerogative where I can able to understand that there is a very minimal type of the money that has been disbursed for that particular period, and it doesn't end in that way. I have to also calculate the lost transactions or the lost of the customer transactions that has happened for that particular period. So for this I will actually go to the status part. In the status part I will again use the measures to understand that how it actually all happened. So I will use the new measure again for the status, and in this I will actually write the lost transactions from the banks for loan, and in this I will again stretch it up this way, and in this I will calculate that if better if I say that if I will aggregate, if the total disbursed amount which has been given is greater than 0, and the total number of the total number of the total money is less than equals to 0, in that case I will take as for 1 into the lead, and I will take for 1 into the lag, and what I will do is I'll enclose it, and if I take this measures up in here, I can get my job done in here. So if I take the clustered bar chart this time, which is basically this one, and if I place it up in here, I can understand very well that how actually this works. So this time if I take the loan status up in here, and if I take my if I take my if I take the loan status up in here, and if I take my lost transaction into the value section, as well as if I take the interest rate that has been applied to particular type of transactions, it can give me an instant value or instant vision that how much it has been repaid by the bank. That means the banks are working, giving the money to the Indian bank account, but sometimes they are paying to the full if in the case of status, but it is not actually quite reflected into the payment structure. That means there's a mismatch between the payment and the status. So that particular type of the problem has actually can create a type of situation in the Indian bank account, and that need to be checked in by the SEBI as well as the RBI fund manager, that the money which has been dispatched by the banks should end up to the particular schemes or particular area without losing into the other one's hand. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like or please add up your comment. And if you like this video, please also tell your friends to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the bell button. Till then, thank you.